When they initially announced that the 2018 NFL Draft was going to be in Dallas, it pissed me off because I wanted it to come back to Philadelphia. But now that the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions, it couldn't get any sweeter. With the 32nd overall pick, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles select ... Mike Skolsky and Brendan Albert are both here. This is our 2018 NFL mock draft. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Nice
It's draft week, man. Draft week, man. This is my Christmas week. It's the best week of the year for me.
You're gloating. You are gloating, Brendan.
I've done an obnoxious amount of the simulated mock drafts. Bert's probably getting tired of me having him critique all of them, but it's the week of, so.
Here's the way I look at it. This is the one week where people come to me and they think I'm the smart guy of our crew. So this is like the best week for me.
Yeah. This is Christmas, baby. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. So I went and drew names out of a hat. That's the way I did it. So we each have a certain amount of teams, and we each have our names assigned to teams, and that's how we're gonna do it. I have the number 1 overall pick. So I am on the clock. I am the Cleveland Browns. And Brendan is going to do something really, really sexy here. He's going to put up a spreadsheet, and that looks beautiful. So, you color-coded it, all that good stuff. We're ready to go. So I have the first pick. I'm keeping it safe. I'm keeping it stupid. I'm going Sam Darnold of USC, and that's where I'm going number 1. They haven't had a quarterback since Vinny Testaverde. They've gone with everybody at the position that hasn't worked out. By the way, Brendan, it keeps going in and out. I don't know if you see that. Oh, unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Dual monitor problems.
Gotcha. All right, so maybe we don't want to do that. So number 2, picking at number 2 is Skolsky. So you're the Giants.
That's right. This might be a little bit surprising, but if I'm at number 2, I'm either taking a quarterback, or I'm trading back. And since we're not doing trades in this mock, I'm taking Josh Rosen from UCLA.
Ooh.
Okay.
Because how often? I would love if they pick in the top 5 more often, but you don't. The Giants still have a lot of talent on their team, and I don't see them being in this spot anytime soon. So they have a chance now to get their franchise quarterback. I think the time to strikes now.
I'm with you there, Skull, man. Everything you just said makes a ton of sense. Otherwise, you go the Houston Texans approach, and you have to mortgage multiple drafts to move up to get a quarterback. So if you're the Giants and you're already here, you take the quarterback, even though I think you would agree with me, Skolsky, he's not the best player at this point in the draft, right?
Yeah. I agree. But it's just, again, quarterbacks, when you have a chance to get one, you got to get one.
I hear you. And then we get 3 to the Jets, and that's where I'm sitting. The Jets are a perfect situation because they have 2 quarterbacks in front. So they have, of course, the old man there, and then they brought in a guy in Teddy Bridgewater. This is a dream scenario here for Josh Allen. Josh Allen can come in and truly take a full year of a red shirt, and his ceiling can grow. No question in this scenario, Josh Allen's a 3 pick.
All right. So every 5 picks, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze who we just picked. So Brendan kind of did a little bit of that, but we'll kind of dive a little bit deeper. All right, so number 4, Skolsky, you're back on the clock.
Okay. I want to surprise people again and not go with Saquon here, but I want to take Bradley Chubb because I just think Myles Garrett and him on the same D-line is just scary, And with how deep the running back class is, if they can get like a Sony Michael in the beginning, top of the second round, I think in that premier pass rusher here in the top 5 and addressing the running back. Because they already have Duke Johnson. They signed Carlos Hyde. I think if they get another generational pass talent, as we just saw this past year, you win the championship by a great offensive and defensive line. So I think that's why they should go Chubb at number 4.
Brendan, you're back on the clock. Denver.
I'm buying what you're selling, but I still got to go quarterback. Give me Baker. We talked about it before with Baker comparison. I said Jeff Garcia. Adrian, you said Case Keenum. Why not have Case Keenum develop them? So Baker, go ahead, go 5 in Denver.
So in this scenario, the Colts are going to be sprinting to the podium. But actually, we're going to analyze our first 5. All right, so for whatever reason, Saquon Barkley is still on the board. Holy shit, that's crazy. I don't know if that's going to happen on Thursday or not. I do like the prospect, though. You have Garrett and Bradley Chubb to build that defensive line around. I like that, Skolsky. We in our scenario, we have – what did we go? We went with 4 quarterbacks. in the
Yep,
top
4 in the top 5. Yep.
So 4 quarterbacks. This is probably what's going to happen on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not it's a trade or not, but I can't not see 4 quarterbacks going in the top 5. It might not be the same team. It might not be the Giants picking at 2, but I can't see a quarterback not going at the second overall pick.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. Put it this way, fellas. If we get 3 quarterbacks in the top 3, that phone line for Cleveland is going to be buzzing because you have Buffalo, Arizona, Miami. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Denver, if Denver, let's say they really like Allen, he's there, or they like Baker and he's there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Denver say, let's not mess around. Let's move up to 4 and get him.
Yeah. All right. Can you put up that little screen, Brennan, so people can see who we're picking so far?
Sure. Not a problem.
Hopefully it doesn't go in and out like it did before. All right. Looks like we're good there. Oh, so you color-coded each position too, didn't you?
I did. Now let me see this.
Oh, man. Damn it. It keeps going in and out. I don't know.
All right. Hang on. I'll get it. Yeah, I had a color code. I'm a big visual person, so that's what I got here.
There you go. So the quarterbacks are gray, and obviously edge rushers, they're a nice baby blue. I agree though, Skolsky. If I'm at number 2 and I'm the Giants, and I know that I'm not in that position that often, I'm absolutely going quarterback. I don't know if they're going to go that route because it sounds like they like Barkley a lot, but they should go quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, even if they can move down a few spots, I mean, I wouldn't – with a team that wants to grab a quarterback, it's possible they might be able to get Barkley, at like 5 or something like that. They're able to swap like the Broncos or someone.
Yeah, and I mean, the big loser in this scenario here is Buffalo because you look at this and now Buffalo obviously doesn't have a quarterback. Again, we're not doing trades here, but I don't think any of us think these top 5 teams are probably going to be in the same spot. At least I don't think we're going to get 5 of these in a row. Here's the thing. The Jets essentially moved from 6 to 3, and they traded 3 2s to do it. If Buffalo makes this move, they're going to have to trade probably 3 1s. So the demand for what Buffalo is going to have to pay is just going to skyrocket the closer we get to the draft.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, for them, I don't think it's that great of a roster. And you look at that offensive line and, Richie Incognito retired. You don't have Eric Wood anymore. They traded Cordy Glenn. You got the Zay Jones situation and whatever the hell's going on with him. I mean, I don't even want to get into that. So Buffalo, they were like a minus 56 point differential too, even as a 6 seed last year. So they were kind of fluky to even make the playoffs. So if I were them, I would just stay put. I'd be bad for a year, and then you go up and get your quarterback next year. No need to mortgage everything this year. That's
fine. I mean, because if you're realistic with yourself, guess what? You're going to be a top 5 pick next year. So why trade up for it? The only thing you fear is they were supposed to be a top 5 pick this year, and they weren't. So
yeah, that's true.
I'll say I feel bad for them. They've been wanting to make the playoffs for so long, and now they make it, and now it's probably better if they're a terrible team next year.
Exactly right, Skolsky.
Yep. All right, so I am on the clock in back-to-back picks, and if I'm the Colts, I'm sprinting to the podium. I am taking Saquon Barkley. I think he's the best player in this draft. So Saquon Barkley to okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
There we go.
Well, now it's fine. Now it's not going in and out.
Cool.
All right. So Saquon is number 6. And then number 7, Tampa Bay, Quentin Nelson is still on the board. He's my number 2 player in this draft. So these picks for me are pretty damn easy. I'm going Barkley and Quentin Nelson. I believe they have Marpet now playing center for Tampa Bay. He's not a guard anymore. So I'm going guard. I'm going with second best player in the draft, Quentin Nelson. Number 8. Where are we at? Number 8, we're back to Skolsky.
That's exactly who I was planning on taking at number 8. Because, Chicago just got the Notre Dame's offensive line coach to join. Yep. So I thought it would be a match made in heaven, but I guess we're at the pivot a little bit here. I think I'm going to go Denzel Ward. Give him a little. Last year, they're full of holes. They're a rebuilding team, and that gives them like a stud secondary guy that they can just. I think that'd be a great fit for him because obviously defense wins championships. I would love Quentin Nelson there, give a little protection to Trubisky, but I don't think any of the other offensive linemen are really worth a top 10 pick right now.
I agree with you there. Yep.
Totally fair. I see what you're saying here. And I agree, Skolsky, that would have been a dream fit if he would have been there for Chicago. But, man, I don't think he slides. He's a stud. Man, now he gets the Niners, and the receiver need is big, but this is way too rich to take a receiver for where they are. I think they're a team who might be in a trade-back scenario if they get the right situation to get. But if we're looking at here, they lost a lot of safeties. I actually like Derwin James more than Minkah, so I'm going to go with Derwin James. I think he's a better NFL fit. I think NFL teams know where he lines up. Minkah, I don't think people are really knowledgeable about, is he a slot corner? Is he a free? Derwin's a free or a strong all day long. So give me Derwin James there in the Niners to replace Eric Reed.
All right, so I'm at number 10. I got the Raiders, and I'm hearing that they love Roquan Smith, the linebacker from Georgia. And you look at their weak side linebacker right now, Corey James. So if I'm Roquan Smith, and to be successful in the NFL, because he is kind of small and he does have trouble getting off blocks, you got to have some protection in front of you. And to play that weak side spot where you can just kind of roam around and use his speed, because that's where he's going to be at his best. So if you're the Raiders, you still kind of got some work to do in order of that with the defensive tackles. But you do have Khalil Mack, Bruce Irvin, Tahir Whitehead are your other linebackers. So if they love Roquan Smith and he's on the board, I think that's where they're going to go.
I like that pick, Adrian. I think he's a stud. I'm a big fan of Roquan. So now you get to Miami, and Miami's
we're going to analyze again. That's what we're doing. All right, so now we got 6 through 10. What do you think, Brendan, about these picks?
Well, let's see here. I mean, the defensive back need for Chicago is very real. So I think Skolsky did a nice job there. Denzel Ward. Some people are probably not going to love Derwin James over Minkah. I get that. I just think Derwin James is ready, more plug and play. I think the Niners would have much rather Quentin Nelson to be there, but he's not there either. And then Roquan Smith, the Raiders just need a traffic cop in the middle. That defense has been horrible. But if I'm negative about this pick, exactly like you said, Adrian, Roquan's a guy who needs to stay free, not a great defensive line in front of him. So this is a situation, okay, let's take him at 10, but we got to go get a big defensive tackle in the second round to make sure Roquan can play free.
Yeah, you got to build around Roquan if you want him to be successful in the NFL. But if you build around him, and you're going to be able to capitalize on what he does best.
Does Roquan not fit that perfect stereotypical Raiders mold of that thumper? That's someone that can give you that edge on defense. So
yeah, he's definitely not thumper. He's like in the Telvin Smith mold. In the who else is a good example?
How about a guy that John Gruden had in Derek Brooks? I mean, all day long. That's a great fit right there.
Yeah, I think Gruden would love him.
He's like a sideline to sideline guy. He does a lot of that. He's got a lot of speed, so that's what he's about. But he's not a guy that's like going to get off blocks, because that's not a strong suit of his. So he's not going to be able to play like middle linebacker in the NFL. I think he's going to have to stay outside. So that's kind of my thoughts there. What do you think, though, Brendan? Do you think maybe you could play 3-4 inside?
It depends. I wouldn't like him there. I'd like him more as a 4-3 inside, 3-4 outside to kind of keep him free, let him be able to use the speed. Yeah. I'm trying to do as much as I can. Honestly, I would have probably, hindsight, I probably should have taken Roquan Smith to the Niners. Looking back now, I think that probably would have better fit. So shame on me there.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, once you turn in the card, you're done.
It's all over. That's right.
All right, so Dolphins, you're back on the clock, Brendan.
Yep, now I'm back on the clock here. So Miami's in a situation that they're bad all across the board. They're probably going to fire their head coach in a year. So just embrace the suck, and you're going to be a top 5 pick next year. So to me, if I'm Miami, I'm not trading up. I'm cool. Hey, if Baker slides here or someone slides here, great. But in our scenario, no one does. I'm not going to draft Lamar Jackson. I'll go best player available. Give me Minkah Fitzpatrick. Miami needs a lot of help on that defense.
Yeah, I like that pick there. All right, Skolsky, looks like you're back-to-back here.
All right, well, we talked about how we think the Bills are a team that could be trading up, so we're not doing trades, and we're kind of agreed that they might be looking for that more next year. I'm going to go Mike McGlinchey. Give me some protection for that QB that we're going to have next year. Have that line already set up. So I'm going to go with him.
All right, Mike McGlinchey from Notre Dame. And then you're back on the clock. You're there with the Redskins.
All right. Well, they need a guy in the middle of their defensive line. So give me Vita V. He'll be a big body. He can play multiple. He can play different defensive schemes. I think he would come in and be a great plug and play guy, and it would open up a lot for their defense as well to have that big cog in the middle.
All right, Green Bay, Brendan, that's you.
This is a cupcake for me. Give me Davenport. They need an edge guy real bad there in Green Bay. So if Davenport's here in this situation, I think you're seeing the Packers change over the guard. I'm going to go a little more defensive focus. So, yeah, Davenport absolutely making his way to Green Bay in this scenario.
All right, so I'm Arizona. You have Larry Fitzgerald. He's he now? 34, 35, 36 years old. He doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires. John Brown, I don't remember if he left, but I think he did. So that wide receiving core is pretty bad. I mean, I think Arizona's pretty bad in general, but I'm going Calvin Ridley here from Alabama, number 1 receiver on the board. Give me him. So that's who I got. So we're back to analyzation here. We went 10 through 15. Brendan, what you think?
Well, here's a sleeper situation here, okay? Let's say play the hypothetical game, which I love. That's my favorite thing about the draft. Let's say we get 4 quarterbacks in the top 4. Denver's sitting there at 5, and Denver's thinking, okay, well, we have Saquon, we could get Chubb, we can get Quentin Nelson. What about this? The Packers have the most draft picks. The Packers currently have 12 draft picks. What about the Packers trading up to 5, trading a 1 and maybe a 2 and like a 4, trading up and getting Bradley Chubb? Because the Packers need help, and when you have Aaron Rodgers, you're always ready to win a Super Bowl. So I could see the Packers sneakily being a team making a move, but the Marcus Davenport pick, I think, is a no-brainer there. Calvin Ridley makes a ton of sense, Adrian. Skolsky, I agree with you. Vita Vea makes a ton of sense there in Washington, although I think they would rather have a safety if one was on the board. And Buffalo lost 3 of their 5 starting offensive linemen this year. Yep. 2 guys retired, and they traded 1. So you're right, Skolsky.
Yeah.
The McGlinchey move makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I mean, they traded Cordy Glenn, but they didn't know that Incognito was going to surprise retirement after he surprise fired his agent on Twitter the day before. So.
Yep. So, I like that call there with McGlinchey. I got nothing wrong with it. Vita Vea might be one of my favorite players in this draft, and we talked about him off air, Brendan, and how he kind of reminds us a little bit of Haloti Ngata and his athleticism for a guy that size. Marcus Davenport, we did our edge rusher rankings today. We're both pretty high on him and his upside. So Davenport, I like that. Makes a lot of sense to Green Bay. So I'm good with all these picks.
Love it.
Yep. All right, so 16 is who? Who are we at now?
The Ravens.
Ravens, and that's you, Brendan.
Yeah. All right. So here's what you need to know. In the last 13 picks that the Ravens had in the first 3 rounds, they've only used 4 on offensive players, and they're all terrible. Here's the bigger thing you need to know. Everyone knows the Flacco contract's horrible. The Ravens can get out of it this time next year. They brought in RG3. Doesn't RG3 sound like a great mentor to Lamar Jackson? It makes too much sense for the Ravens not to take Lamar Jackson, truly let him sit a full year, and then move on from the contract. Do I like Lamar Jackson as a 16th overall pick? No, but financially, I get why it makes sense.
Okay,
I love that pick. I think that's a perfect thing. I couldn't imagine being a Ravens fan going from a statue and Joe Flacco to potentially a dynamic dual threat running quarterback like Lamar.
Or how about this, Skolsky, going from the hey, we're going to run the ball 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and then all of a sudden we're going to get Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Yo, man, you didn't even have Lamar Jackson on your board.
You didn't. That's my bad.
You knew you were going to pick him.
Shame on me.
You're going to have him up there.
Here, I'll do it really quick. There we go.
There it is. All right. Lamar Jackson in his little font there.
Little font, Lamar Jackson.
He sticks out from the rest of the crowd. All right, so Chargers, you're back on the board, Brendan.
Man, this is a tough situation now for San Diego because San Diego really needed offensive tackle help. That was a big thing. So if McGlinchey was there, that would have been a great situation. Vita Vea would have been a great situation there. But how about Tremaine Edmonds? This is a guy who's been sliding in our draft. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think in the real world, if Tremaine Edmonds was gone, I think this would have been Van Der Esch. But since Tremaine Edmonds is here, let's go ahead and let's keep adding more pieces to that defense. That's a sneaky good defense. And honestly, I'll say it now, I think they're going to win the division next year.
Oh, I like the Chargers. Yeah, we'll get to our analyzation. We'll talk about that a little bit. All right, Seahawks, it looks like Skolsky.
Yeah, Seahawks are an interesting team because they also don't have any I don't believe they have any second or third round picks after making a few trades. And then one of them they traded and then they lost. He signed with the Vikings later in the offseason.
Yeah.
But I think I would have to go Connor Williams here. Just because Russell Wilson, can only do so much. Like he's running for his life back there. He single-handedly beat the Eagles. We were getting pressure on him the entire game, but you can't just you need to protect him, and then that will open up The running game will, prolong his career. You got to protect your franchise quarterback. So I think taking an offensive lineman here just makes too much sense.
With you.
All right, so the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. All right, let's take a punter here, man.
There you go.
Let's play available. Yeah. All right. What do I think they're going to do? Well, here's the thing. When Sean Lee got hurt last year, their defense went to shit. Jalen Smith had trouble playing the linebacker spot. This is where I think they go Leighton Vander Esch from Boise State. Get some linebacker help. That's where I'm going here. Leighton Vander Esch, baby. Really high on him, too, by the way.
Damn it. That's what I wanted.
I keep taking your picks.
No, not even taking it. It's such a great pick, but I just hate him going to the Cowboys because I like him.
Oh, I got you. I mean, that's who I want the Eagles to take. I want Leighton Vander Esch, but I think Leighton Vander Esch will be gone by the time Philly picks.
All right. Well, I guess I have the Lions at 20. Give me another big ugly. I'm going Will Hernandez, the guard from Texas.
Love it.
I love that one.
He's a big mauler. I mean, he'd come in right away. I mean, they've been struggling getting the running game going, but you put a big mauler like him in there. He's athletic. He's strong. I mean, I think that'd be a great fit in Detroit.
I love that. So now that we're analyzing here, Will Hernandez, we did our tackles and guard show earlier today. Well, that's when I posted it with Brennan, and he was my number 2 guard. He's like 350 pounds. He can move for a guy his size. He's really strong. He's got a mean streak. And then the Connor Williams situation, I mean, that's where the Seattle's going to go. They're going to take a tackle. But the problem is like a lot of these tackles in this class, not really that high of a class or good of a class when it comes to that spot. So they're it's the wrong year for the Seattle to take a lineman. And then Lamar Jackson, the big wild card, where's he going to go? And it's Baltimore. For Brendan. So what are you thinking of these picks?
Fellas, I would be honest with you. If Calvin Ridley would have been there at 16, I would have taken Calvin Ridley to the Ravens. I mean, that would have been my move. But when he wasn't there, they need to take an offensive player. That's not negotiable. You got to take an offensive player. And with the quarterback getting that 5th-year rookie option, it just makes sense for the Ravens to take Lamar Jackson. Connor Williams, you put on 2016 tape, he's a top 10 pick. You put on 2017 tape, he's not a first-round pick. So which Connor Williams are you going to get? So I see where Skolsky's coming there because Seattle's in the same spot. You got to draft someone who's 300 pounds and can block. That's right. As simple as it is. I think Seattle, for exactly the reason you talked about, Skolsky, no day 2 picks. They trade back, try to get a day 2 pick because they need a lot of help in the inside of that line. So I'm with you there. Vander Esch, stud. We all love him, so nothing to talk about there. Will Hernandez is just a mean, tough SOB. I like Isaiah Wynn a little more over Will Hernandez because Isaiah Wynn played in the SEC and he's played tackle. But I'm not going to tell you that Will Hernandez is a bad pick because that dude's a straight-up bull.
Yeah, I absolutely love Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. I'm actively rooting for that to happen. I think that's a perfect situation for him where you can sit for a year. You have 2 veterans ahead of you. I think it'd be a great situation for him.
I'm with you, Skolsky. And it gives the Ravens really a full year to develop an offense for him too, which is a perfect scenario for not only for Lamar to develop, but also for the Ravens to really say, okay, what can we build to your strengths?
All right, so we're back on the clock with Cincinnati, and that's Brendan.
Man, the Bengals is a weird situation here because the Bengals, I would have said they've been a sneaky team to get Lamar Jackson because, they need quarterback. I think we all can agree Dalton is whatever. They need tackle help as well because both of the tackles they have in Fisher and the other guy I can't remember from A&M, not awesome. I'm actually going to go center here, and I'm going to go with the center I like a lot. I'm going to go Billy Price. I'm going to keep a guy in the state of Ohio.
I like that pick. I like that one. Billy Price. Can you even – there you go. Oh, man, you got the setters in purple?
Yeah.
You got the linemen like purple?
Love it. There we go.
All right, so the Bills are back on the clock, and we had I believe it was Skolsky that made the pick earlier with McGlinchey. So they addressed some offensive line help. So at this spot, I was thinking maybe they go Isaiah Wynn, but since they already took a lineman, I think they would go elsewhere. Best player available might be Josh Jackson, but I don't know if they really need cornerback help. So I'm going Deron Payne from Alabama. Help the interior of that defensive line. Kyle Williams isn't getting any younger. So you look at, that situation there. I think Deron Payne probably makes the most sense if this is kind of how the board plays itself out.
I'm buying what you're selling there, man. All right, so now we get to New England. New England needs a defensive playmaker. Let's get Rashad Evans in here to New England. They need a defensive playmaker bad. It's been really noticeable how that defense gets torched if they don't get pressure. They really haven't had anyone who's a real threat. So give me Rashad Evans from Bama going here to the Patriots. Although Isaiah Wynn would make a lot of sense too. I think because it's a poor edge class, you need guys who can blitz. And Evans, there's a big drop-off after him. So New England probably takes him here.
All right, well, this I think is going to be seen as a little bit of a reach. We'll put that out there beforehand.
I like it.
With Kelvin Benjamin traded and Funchess only have 1 year left on the deal, I'm going DJ Chark from LSU.
That's Brendan's boy.
That's my dude.
I'm going with. I think him. You have a big physical receiver with Funchess. You get that speed guy. I mean, he's got the size. Yeah. He ran 4.3. I mean, he has as much potential as anyone. I mean, he might be down your board a little bit, but I think the fit there would be fantastic.
Well, he's not down Brendan's board because he's the second. He's a number 2 receiver for Brendan. So you're right with Brendan's territory there, and I agree with the thought process. We'll get to that in a second.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. Keep talking. It's your pick.
I mean, I was going to say. I mean, if I were taking him, I'd maybe consider trading back a couple of picks. But I just think the fit is excellent there. You get the Thunder and Lightning with Funchess and Chark, and then obviously Olsen in the middle. So I mean, I think it'd just be a hell of a lot of weapons. And obviously, last year they got I'm drawing a blank on his name. Running back.
Yeah. McCaffrey,
yeah. The Eagles' darling, that's right.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, I think that'd be a great fit. They go for having no playmakers to, I think they'd be an even more dangerous team.
All right, we're with the Titans, Tennessee. That's Brendan.
Nashville, one of the coolest cities in the country, by the way. If you guys haven't been there, you got to go to Nashville. It's an awesome town. But Titans here, a weird situation. If they didn't sign Dion Lewis, I would have said this is Sony Michel all day long to complement Henry. But they made that signing. I still don't know if Corey Davis is any good, to be honest with you. Or Dory Jackson looked good. Bring in Butler. So to me, you got to get edge help. Let's go ahead with the best edge guy left on the board. Let's take Harold Landry here at the Tennessee Titans.
Okay. All right. So 21 through 25, DJ Chark is probably a little bit of the surprise here, but when you actually think about it, it's really not. And I would think that if Carolina wants DJ Chark, I would agree that they would trade back because I don't think DJ Chark would get drafted this high. So, but the thought process there where you got these big physical receivers, you get the speed guy, and you got a guy in Cam Newton that can get the ball out there. DJ Chark definitely makes perfect sense. Rashad Evans, I like that fit for New England. I think with Bill Belichick and his genius, he'd know how to utilize Evans and his strengths. Because you look at him, and he's a guy that can edge or blitz off the edge, and he's a guy that can rush the quarterback too. So I think Bill would definitely know how to use him. What do you think, Brendan?
Man, I love DJ Chark, Skolsky, so I'm just going to applaud you. So I talked about this on our receiver show that me and Adrian did. I don't really love the receiver class this year. So to me, I'm like, well, who's the guy with the most upside? How about a guy who's 6'3" and ran a 4.3 40 and ran away from SEC defenders all year long and DJ Chark? Love it. And Skolsky, the pairing makes a ton of sense. When Cam Newton was at his MVP form, he had Ted Ginn. And Ted Ginn's job was to run straight. And that's what DJ Chark's job is going to be. So I love that pick there too, Skolsky. That's a great job.
Yep. Yeah, good stuff there. All right, so back on the clock, it's me with Atlanta and 26. And I think this is pretty easy right here. I think it's Isaiah Wynn. I think they need guard help, especially when you looked at last year when they played the Eagles and the way that Fletcher Cox abused those guards. They have tackles, they have a center, but they don't have guards. I mean, Andy Levitre is good, but their right guard, it was Wes Schweitzer and Brandon Fusco. They did sign in the offseason, I believe. But I'm going Isaiah Wynn, and obviously you got the Atlanta-Georgia connection there too. So I think that's an easy pick for the Falcons.
I'm with you. Totally with you there.
All right, well, Saints, they missed out on They missed out in the free agency bringing him back with Jimmy Graham, but I'm going Dallas Goedert here. I think, they love the tight ends. The Kobe Fleener experiment didn't really work out too well, but I think Goedert with Drew Brees would be a deadly combination.
Okay. All right, so we're at Pittsburgh now, and my God, I don't know what they're going to do because we already took the linebackers, and I think it would be a little bit of a reach to take any of these guys. So I'm going to take best player on the board, and that's Josh Jackson of Iowa. I think he's probably the best guy that's left. So a team like Pittsburgh, I mean, you're at the end of the first round, just take the best player, and that's Josh Jackson, I think, of the guys that we have. Am I next, too?
It's not me. I know that.
27 is who?
Let's see here. Who's in trouble?
Me again? It's me again. All right, so
the Jags.
we got Jacksonville. All right, so who the hell is even left now? See, now we're getting in the tough territory. Harold Landry. All right, I got my sheet here. Let's see. Jacksonville, what do they need? They need a receiver. Oh, my God, they need a receiver. They just lost Allen Robinson. This is probably where Courtland Sutton's going to go. Jacksonville, if he's still on the board.
Makes sense. Go get the guy who can take the ball off the rim, get a big body there for a very inaccurate quarterback. I can see that.
Yep. So there you go. Man, I had trouble with those two picks.
I feel like all my picks have a theme, but I'm going with another big ugly. I'm going Colton Miller, offensive tackle. We saw they were great. Minnesota was a great team last year. You saw what happened when they faced up a great D-line with the Philadelphia Eagles. Completely derailed their offense. They gave Kirk Cousins a fully guaranteed contract. You want to protect them. You have Dalvin Cook coming back, so I think offensive line makes a lot of sense here.
All right. New England back on the clock. That's you, Brendan.
This is a tough spot now for the Patriots because, the dream scenario would be getting an edge guy and an offensive lineman in the first round. Now that Colton Miller's gone, Isaiah Wynn's gone, there's really not a great offensive line guy in this situation in front of you. So this kind of makes you kind of question, what do we do? Well, here's what we do. We need an offense that we run a lot of slot options. How about we get the best slot receiver in the league in the draft here and get Christian Kirk, plug him in, fill in for Danny Amendola, get him on the special teams role right away, plug and play situation. It's a great fit for that offense, what they need of what they've lost now.
All right, so the Eagles are on the clock, and we're all going to make a pick here, but Brendan will go first since I guess I picked his name out of the hat. So this would be the dream scenario for Philly, though, because it sounds like they really like Darius Geis. That seems like the route that they're going to go, and he'd be on the board in this situation.
I'm glad you think so, Adrian, because I don't. I prefer Sony Michel.
I know you do.
The way I look at it is just straight up between the two of them, Sony Michel's heavier. Sony Michel catches the ball better out of the backfield. Yeah, Sony Michel has a little bit of fumble issue, but you can fix that. I mean, Tiki Barber fixed that towards the end of his career. So I would prefer Sony Michel of the two because I also think he complements Jay Ajayi more. Now, if you take Darius Geis, what you're saying is we're not resigning Jay Ajayi next year. If that's the case, that's fine too. But personally, I like Jay Ajayi more. I like Sony Michel more than Darius Geis. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think this is a dream scenario, not because of who's available for the Eagles, but that Mason Rudolph has not been drafted yet.
Right.
We have the fifth year option in the first round, so I think this would make our pick extremely valuable for a team that didn't get a QB in the first round to trade back up with us and for us to recoup some of our picks. So I think we're in a great shape. I'm on the fence about the running backs. I think I would go Geis right now, but it's hard to go again. I agree with Bird that Michael might be a better fit. I just see Geis having a little bit better ceiling. I think another guy you could also see here is Reed,
yes.
Safety from Stanford. I think they would love him. He's pretty much a Malcolm Jenkins clone, and they love versatility when it comes to their defensive backs. They want him to play slot corner sometimes, like we do with Malcolm. I think he'd come in and he'd fit Jim Schwartz's scheme right away. But I'm gonna go Geis here if I had the gun to my head pick.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would be Geis. Just based on what I'm reading and the reports that I'm seeing, I think it sounds like they like him a lot. He stole, my words with Justin Reed, so I don't really need to repeat what you said. So I think it's going to be Geis, but honestly, I kind of want them to trade back because they don't have the second and the third. And if Mason Rudolph is still on the board, I would agree with that. I don't know what team would trade up with the Eagles to 32, but because that quarterback is still out there, I think if you're the Eagles, you could probably get a little bit more than you normally would because the quarterback is still on the board.
Honestly, I have the running backs so close that if we could trade back and maybe miss out on Geis but get Sony Michael and like a third rounder or early fourth rounder, that would be a dream scenario, I think.
Yeah. I like Ronald Jones too.
I do like Ronald Jones a lot too.
Yeah, the USC running back. I think his acceleration and his jump cutting ability and the way that he just doesn't lose speed when he makes his cuts, I like him a lot.
We're in a great position where we can just take the best player available. There's no giant hole on our team right now. I mean, we can even take a slot corner. We can take a slot corner. We can possibly get one of the tight ends.
Yep.
Offensive line depth, obviously, with Jason Peters getting up there in age. There's a lot of different routes we could do, but there's nothing we need. But there's a lot of we can pretty much go anywhere but quarterback, essentially.
Yep. Brennan, what you got? Anything else?
Skolsky, I would have said, honestly, if you didn't take DJ Shark here or the Panthers, I would take him to the Eagles because he really would have complemented Alshon really nicely. And I don't think you double down on the big possession receivers and you would get Sutton and Alshon. I think you would like a guy who complements him. So I would have taken Shark over Cortland Sutton in that situation. I think DJ Moore is a very realistic fit here too in that situation.
He's from Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, he's a Philadelphia guy too. In this situation, though, the offensive linemen are all gone. That would have been a nice thing too. I'm always thinking, hey, if you can't block him, you can't beat him. So let's always keep building the offensive line, even if it's not sexy. I hear everything you guys are saying there. I mean, you could go corner and get Jaleel Alexander from Louisville here, or Isaiah Oliver. How about Mike Hughes from UCLA?
Mike Hughes would be great. Slot
also could be return guy. I mean, you can go get Ronnie Harrison, strong safety from Alabama. There's a lot of options in this situation, but I agree with you, Skolsky. If all this comes true to form, the dream scenario for the Eagles is Lamar Jackson goes somewhere after 22. Because if he goes after 22, now all of a sudden you're in a great spot to trade back from Mason. If Lamar goes in 16, I don't think the Eagles would trade back. I think someone would have to trade up earlier than, say, like Pittsburgh kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think
– Yep, sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I think just to go back to a couple of our picks here, the one thing I love about Josh Jackson, I think he can move to play free safety too. He had 8 interceptions, which tied the most for FBS for a single season. I could easily see him moving to free safety, and that's another need for the Steelers. Everything else here, guys, makes a ton of sense for what we got. So if you guys want to go Darius Geis here at 32 with the Birds, I'm cool with that. That makes sense.
Yeah. The thing I was just going to say with Pittsburgh is when I was kind of making my pick there, I thought about Mason Rudolph. I thought about that with Ben Roethlisberger. It seems like every year he wants to retire. So you would have the backup plan in case he ever does go away, and you get Mason Rudolph. But the talent of Josh Jackson was too enticing for me to pass up, so that's why I took it.
How great would it be if the Ravens get Lamar Jackson, the Steelers take their quarterback in the first round too, just for the rivalry's sake?
Exactly.
Their two careers would be tied together. It'd be great.
I mean, and the only reason I don't think that happens is I like Josh Dobbs, and we don't really know definitively what he is in Pittsburgh, and obviously
that's true. They do have Josh Dobbs. I forgot about him.
The Steelers staff might, know after a year, hey, this is not the replacement. But, you did just draft Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Christian Kirk to the Patriots as well. I think that I hate how much I like it. I think they'd be extremely dangerous with him in the slot. They love those shifty receivers, and he would fit right in that, like you said, that Danny Amendola mode, but with a higher ceiling, I would think.
And Skolsky, that's another team. People talk all the time about, the Patriots could trade up to get a quarterback. You look at the last couple of draft class Patriots have had, it's been pretty bad. I mean, they have not had good draft class, but I would say if the Patriots were going to move up for anything, it'd be moving up for whether it's Bradley Chubb in a dream scenario or it's Davenport because they need edge help. So I don't think the Patriots move up for a quarterback. They're more likely to move up for an edge guy because it's such a weak edge class this year. But I think the Patriots standing point, getting Rashad Evans and Christian Kirk, I think they go to bed sleeping with a big smile on their face that night.
And that's why I like the Rashad Evans pick, because he's a guy that can rush off the edge. I mean, he's if you look at him compared to even the edge rushers, you can make the argument that he's got more pass rush moves than some of the guys at the top of the edge class.
I think that's fair, Adrian. You know, I think he's a thumper backer. He reminds me a lot of Bart Scott. You know, not necessarily the super fluid athlete that Ray Lewis was in coverage, but more of the thumper and the great blitzer from the inside, and on third down can come outside like Bart Scott did.
Yep.
I see that. And honestly, Dante Hightower is still there in New England too, so that's a pretty damn nice two inside backer situation. If you didn't take Vander Esch to the Cowboys, I would have said that would have been a nice fit for him too in Dallas.
Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. We covered everything. Our first round is complete. So any last thoughts on our draft?
I think this is a great situation for the Birds for all the reasons we said. I mean, one, we have Geis, which you said they love. Sonny Michael's still there. One of the quarterbacks hasn't been drafted yet, so our pick just got so much more valuable. And this comes out. This is our situation when we go up. When we're on the clock at 32. I think Howie and Joe Douglas would be ecstatic. Brendan picked Sonny Michael. That's actually, if you've been paying attention to mocks, he's been the more popular pick lately. I've been seeing him mock the Eagles a lot more. So usually it's with guys like Daniel Jeremiah who've been picking him.
Yeah.
He usually has some insight with the actual. He has some inside knowledge. So
Yep.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah,
I would say – go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you read the kind of the reports and even the pre-draft visits, it does seem like, you know, the Eagles are pretty attached to who visits. And it seems like the three names that keep popping up are Courtland Sutton, Leighton Vander Esch, and Darius Geis. I don't know if Sutton would fit, just kind of what you were saying, Brennan. I mean, you have him and Alshon. They're basically like the same player. But if you kind of go by the reports, it sounds like Geis might be the pick. So, Brendan, if you don't mind just kind of zooming out a little bit so we can look at all the first-round picks there.
Let's see how far I got to zoom out to get everyone on the same screen. There we go.
There we are. Look at that. That's lovely. Brendan, you're going to speak?
Yeah, I would say the one thing that I think is the most unrealistic thing in our scenario here, guys, is Edmonds falling to 17. I think that might be the most unrealistic. I'm not a huge fan of him. If I'm being positive, Paul, upside, he's only going to be 19 years old when he's drafted, which is unbelievable.
Crazy.
But at the same time, not a lot of those guys have really hit when they're that young. I know you could say like, oh, well, his edge can move outside his size. Well, he hasn't done it. And a lot of times the NFL, they will bet more on guys they know what they can do versus what their potential is. I don't think he slides to 17. If he slides out of the first 12 to 13, that would really surprise me. The other thing, we talked about this, pre-show, how we all kind of jinxed Jonathan Allen last year. Maybe we just jinxed Tremaine Edmonds here. But the thing that you always got to say is when guys start to slide, it's for two reasons. One, you're Reuben Foster and you have off-the-field concerns and it's getting discovered late, or Gareon Conley. Or two, you have medical concerns like Jonathan Allen, and those things don't get released to the public. So we can do these mock drafts, and if a guy starts to slide, it's either off the field or it's medical.
Yeah, so if you – yeah, go ahead, Skolsky.
I was going to say, I could actually see Tremaine Edmonds fall a little bit because, like he said, he's pretty raw right now. You're drafted on pure upside. I think a lot of times with the first round, like Brandon said, they'd rather go with a sure thing if they're going to invest that first-round pick on you. I don't think he'll fall to 17, but I can see him going a little bit later than the mocks have him going.
And you kind of brought up the point, Brendan, of him being 19 and all that good stuff. It seems like when you're 19, it doesn't really work out for your career. And the guy that I think of instantly is Amobi Okoye. If you're hearing him from the Texans. And I remember so many people are like, oh, man, he's only 19 years old. Just think about what he's going to be like 5 years from now. He busted. He wasn't anything. And you look at his situation with Tremaine Edmonds, I mean, sure, the upside is through the roof, but when I watch him play, his read and reaction skills are a little slow. And I need to see some improvements before, I'm investing a big top 10 pick in him.
Skolsky, when you look at this, was there anything that you kind of said, I don't think that would ever happen? besides Edmonds maybe?
I'm looking at it now. I think we actually did a pretty good job. None of them were really stand out. I mean, it's kind of my fault that Barkley's fallen outside the top 5. I'm the one of the Giants and the Browns. But, I mean, I could see that happening. I mean, running backs become such a devalued position, but he is such a great talent that he could still break that mold and go to the top 5.
Yeah, I thought that too. You know, I was sitting there with the Broncos at 5, and that was pretty tough for me to take Baker over Saquon.
Yeah.
The big reason I took Baker was just some of the stuff you're reading. It sounds like the Broncos really love Baker. If this would have been Rosen, I would have taken Barkley over Rosen, though.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Barkley's going out of the top 5. If that was like my initial reaction to this. I am reading that some people do like Derwin James over Minkah Fitzpatrick, so that's not crazy at all. I don't really see any problems with our mock draft. I think it's a pretty good one.
What's your favorite pick?
I'll let you go first, Adrian.
I don't know what my favorite pick is. I am a huge fan of Will Hernandez. Like that, maybe it's him. I'm just a big fan. I'm also a big fan of Vita Vea, but if he's going to the Redskins, maybe I won't like that so much. But yeah, I'll go Will Hernandez, man. I think he's a beast.
All right, let me say mine, and I really hate to say it, but it would be the Dallas Cowboys taking Van Der Esch. I think that'd be a great pick. I mean, you know them; they were one Sean Lee away from being the best team in the NFL. If you ask any Cowboys fan, but
love it.
But you know, you put him in there, and that's a guy that could be, you know, the center of your defense for years to come.
Yeah. I got a couple I really like.
I don't think they're going to have to trade up, and I don't think they have the capital to. That's the problem. I would love for him to be on the Eagles, though.
Yep.
Yeah, if they were to trade up, you're looking at not only this picks, you're looking at some picks from next year, and that's not worth it, you know. There's a couple I like here. Obviously, Seattle, you just got to take an offensive lineman. It really doesn't matter what offensive lineman's there. You just got to pick them. That's the truth. Obviously, if somehow the Chargers got a top 10 guy at 17, that's a great situation. For me, though, I like the DJ Shark pick. I like that one a lot, Skolsky. I think that's a really nice situation. But Christian Kirk, I mean, playing slot option with Tom Brady, I mean, like that's like a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I didn't see your previous video. I wasn't sure how people were going to react to DJ Shark. I know he's very polarizing, and you can get very opposite reactions depending on who you ask. But I think with his size and speed, you know, he can easily be a first-round guy just based off his ceiling alone.
And that's what I said, Skolsky, about him. As I said, you know, he's a 6'3", 4'3" guy. If you're negative, you're thinking, oh, his production sucked in college. Why should I bet on him? I'm like, well, every receiver who played at LSU, his production has sucked in college. So you can look at both sides of it. Really cool things because, you know, I live out here in Vegas. I got a couple of cool Vegas lines here. The Vegas line for NFL receivers drafted in the first round is 2.5. We have the over, but just barely because of Kirk and Sutton, which I don't think anyone says they're surefire guys, or even Shark is a surefire. Another one they had here was James Washington is currently favored to get drafted ahead of DJ Shark. But that surprised me. I put money down on that one.
Wow. I'm not a James Washington guy.
I like him. It's not in the first round, though.
Exactly. Well, the line, Skolsky, was who goes first, so I took DJ Shark all day.
Just based off the potential. I think James Washington might be a safer pick. But Shark, I mean, it's hard to not be enticed by that.
And that's what Adrian said, you know, and Adrian said when we were looking at the receivers and we were looking at defensive backs, if you're not in love with any of these guys thinking they're going to be number one, draft the upside. That's why I did it with Shark.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because we did our wide receiver show, and he raised my eyebrows when he said Shark at 2. I'm like, whoa, really? But the thought process makes sense. I mean, it's not a great wide receiver class. So if you don't have a great class, take the guy with the upside, and that's DJ Shark. So there we go. All right, I think that's it. I don't think Brennan has anything else he wants to say. I know it's hard to shut him up when it comes to draft time, but I think we have shut him up.
I can't say any more because I'll just keep going. So thank you guys for listening to us. I'm done. I promise. I'm done.
Thanks for having me, Adrian.
It's nice to have Skolsky back. The winner, he took this trophy away from me this year. I was the reigning Phi Kappa Theta champion, and now check this out. This guy has won 3 of the 6 championships that we've had. Son of a bitch.
I wish my luck would spread out amongst the other fantasy leagues. I tell other people, I was like, I'm winning my other league, and then I always get a good pickup.
I'm gonna take that as a subtle jab at all of us, being like, no, you guys are just dumb. My other leagues are better.
No, I got lucky picking up Alvin Kamara early in that league.
That's fair.
I'm the guy that has like a matchup problem. Like I can face I always beat everybody else, but then when I face Skolsky, he fucking beats me every time. It happens. He took me down the semifinals. I think this was, I don't remember who was even on my team anymore, but I have a history of taking suspended guys, and then by the time the end of the year rolls around, my team is like dynamite, and he still took me down.
Did you take Zeke this year?
I didn't take him this year. That was last year because it was Deshaun who took Zeke this year. But I do have that history of always, the guys that are suspended the first 4 weeks. See, like I'm an arrogant prick, so I always think that I can still win the first 4 weeks and go like 2-2, and then go on a big winning streak. And by the time the playoffs start, I think I have the best team. But whenever I fucking face Skolsky, he beats me.
Hey, you beat me in the championship last year, right?
Yes, I did. I did. And I think it's because you had an injury. You had like a injury problem.
Yeah, I did.
See, so it was like a tainted title.
No, it's all good.
But your name's going to be back on the trophy this year. I got to get this bad boy to you. But that's it. That's it for our mock draft show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and watched all of this. And hopefully you liked Brendan's freaking color coordinated mock draft. I feel bad for anybody that is colorblind. But
yeah, we probably should have put a warning out before we started this.
Oh, man. All right. Brendan Albert, Mike Skolsky, I'm Adrian Fedke. I was going to make a joke at the end, but it would have been inappropriate, so I didn't. So we're out of here, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.